This is the Playing the Artist. This is a weekly web show podcast thingy, Madoer, and we talk about just being artists, or at least trying to be artists, and trials and tribulations. And as always, is the handsome man himself, Alex. Alex,
Hi.
what's up?
Welcome to the show again. 7 a.m. like it is every week. If you're
Hey,
live,
here's the train.
God bless you. Yeah, that's the train. Yeah, man. We're here. You're here. Thank you for parking your meat wagon one more time, because I guess you're hungry for this tabletop RPG talk, being an artist talk, 3D printing talk, and we're gonna give it to you, baby.
We're gonna give it to you. So, man, hey, how was your trip, by the way?
Oh, yeah, it was fine. It's a family trip. It's a lot of board games, a lot of eating.
Did you go to arcade?
Did I go to an arcade? I did go to an arcade.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was like the kind of arcade where we were like playing the games where you get the little tickets. I wasn't like playing Marvel versus Capcom and other games that.
You were? Was it at the West Edmonton Mall?
It was, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't even like arcades anymore. I just like the idea of an arcade. You know what I mean? I just got rose tinted.
I like the retro arcades. I like playing the old games in their truest form.
Truest form. That means you like microtransactions and paid DLC. So that was like the first ones, right? All those games were designed to get your quarters, dude. You know?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, that part I don't like. I'm talking like using the joysticks on those old TV sets. Like, those games are made specifically for whatever the hardware of the box that they're in.
It was like very like, okay, this is this thing, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's right. That whole unit is designed for one game. It's not like we got to conform the game to the console, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it.
I see what you mean.
And
dude, yeah, Tristan. Sorry, this is a little bit off topic, but Tristan fucking smashed that boy. Tristan.
That's right. So yeah, we got Antoine and I do jiu-jitsu together.
Used to. I don't do it anymore. I wish I did.
And our coach finally got his like UFC debut, and he killed it. Couldn't have done better. He like got fight of the night, beat up some guy who's bigger than him.
Yeah.
Taller than him, does better backflips than him.
500, minus 500 for Tristan on Vegas betting odds.
Yeah, he was a huge underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about him now, so
it's great. I'm so fucking super proud for him. But I watched the fight legally.
Illegally.
It was on YouTube. I found a link on YouTube. It was a person videotaping his television, but I watched it.
Oh, okay.
It's probably gone now. There's always like a couple streams that are open, but I found something kind of interesting watching him kind of talk and other people talk about him, and just watching the fight and stuff like that. Because people were saying like, oh, he took this fight on 5 days notice, and and it was like this, almost like this, kind of like this, like super rare thing, and like it was like the moons were aligned and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was like the perfect scenario. Like it was like out of a movie where he comes in, 5 days notice. He's never fought in UFC, and he fights the big prospect guy, the big Brazilian dude that does backflips. That's handsome with his ponytail and stuff. And the thing is, like, this wasn't like it was out of the blue for the call, like for him to get the opportunity to fight. But like he's been training. He's like, I don't know. He's been training for like how long? Like he said, he started his first fight. He said, I think
probably 10 years.
It was like when he was 25 or something like that, or 24, or something like in his 20s,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
so he's been training for a super long time, and he's and it's not a like, I don't think it's a big surprise that he went, because he's like people were saying like, he's gonna lose because he's just like a nobody. But the thing is, like, he's been in the shadows just hitting bags and tackling people for like years and years and years, and like
Yeah.
he
I don't
was
think it
he was
was.
ready, more than ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have no control over the opportunities you're going to get.
Yes,
But you
but you have
do
full control of being ready for that opportunity.
your preparedness.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
it was.
you can give that analogy to any situation, like a musician, an actor, an illustrator, like, or you know what I mean? Like, you'll find this artist and they'll do
Mhm.
this thing, and they knock it out of the park, like a Kickstarter or a Patreon or whatever, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this person's amazing, and he just like out of the blue came out of nowhere. It's just like, no. You didn't see like the years and hours, thousands of hours of that person, drawing away,
Mhm.
missing birthdays, missing weddings, not going on trips, late nights and early mornings and stuff like that. And
Not showering.
well, you got to do that. You got to do that, because no one will like you and you won't have friends.
Mm.
But yeah, I think this little, I guess you could say, yeah, story that happened, that unfolded on Saturday, is a perfect example of just always be vigilant in your craft, no matter what,
Mhm. Yeah, because
because
like,
you'd be surprised what can happen, right?
yeah, if you're ready, you never know. Like, when you're an artist, sometimes you get contacted randomly for things. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of what feels like RNG in the opportunities you get. Where did you go to school? Who do you know? What is the art style of the projects that happen to be,
yeah,
being made at the time? Do they match yours? And that's just a revolving door of like what's hot at the moment. So there's a lot of like year to year kind of opportunities that come and go,
yeah.
and you just got to be ready for it. You
That's
can't
true,
really
but
force your hand. You can do a lot to, I guess, increase your chances and kind of make things happen, like you said, with Kickstarters and Patreons, but a lot of good things are gonna just kind of stumble onto your lap.
yeah, and you gotta like make sure and pray to God that you're ready. You're ready
Yeah,
to take it on. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
man, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it's rough.
'Cause,
But yeah, hey, I'm super happy for. Hey, are you going to practice tonight? Today? Sorry.
oh, yeah, I'm gonna go. Of
Okay.
course.
Well, tell Tristan, congratulations. And I'm super super happy for him, and I hope to see. I can't wait to see him fight again in
Why
the
don't you
UFC.
tell him, man? Why don't you come
I
tell him?
I don't want to go away to EA back again.
Let's drop in.
No, I'll
I
get
think they'll be
pummeled.
happy to see you.
Ugh, ugh. Just tell him
But
that. Anyways,
that went.
homework.
Yeah, we did it. I did it. You did some homework, right?
Yes, I did. I even have some other pictures to show of some
Did
more
you print
homework I
it?
did.
I guess not. When did you complete it? Did you do it at the very last minute? Like, oh shit, he did print it.
Yeah, check it out.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, check
That's
this
cool. I
fucking
think
nasty
that's
thing out.
awesome.
Look
That's a
at
big vat
that.
of nothing.
What?
Big vat. Nothing
Big
in it.
fat of nothing. I like that print. Yeah, I got a bunch of printing
That's cool.
done. I've been practicing my painting, as you can see. Look at that. Look how zoom
Probably
in.
easier. I wonder if I can full screen this StreamYard.
Full screen this sucker.
Whatever. You
Full
show me
screen.
something later. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've been practicing my painting. Got another one, fucking smaller one.
Oh, you painted one of those. Holy
Yeah.
pro, man.
This one was a test, and if you see closely, there's no rivets on it. So I
Oh.
remodeled it, not remodeled it, but I added rivets to it, like this one right here,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks a lot better. More rivets. More rivets are cool.
Yeah, I like
Um,
the stylized battle damage.
yeah, it was
Pretty,
fun.
pretty
It was
dope.
fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that, and I also got some stills for a post I'm gonna do probably tomorrow. So I'm gonna share my goddamn screen.
Just for a post.
Yeah.
We're getting the exclusive right now.
I guess so.
Perks of waking up at 7 a.m. Telling you.
Or just,
It's getting so early here that like it's dark outside, and I have to turn my lamp on, and it looks like I'm being interrogated in my room here.
Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. That one. Ah,
Still seeing you?
hang on. Give
Do I
me
have
a
to
minute.
click on it? Do I have to do anything, or is this all you?
I think this might be you.
I think
Oh, there we go. So
okay.
this is the same one as that 3D print I showed you. But I added a couple little things, and I added walls, as you can see. So there's just kind of some wall area, so it's a little bit more cover. So it blocks out a lot more line of the site.
What sort of buildings does this represent?
It's just some gobbledygook that you can put on any board. You know what I mean? Like just something that's just like, this is just some destroyed decay.
Yeah.
Just some rubble,
That's cool.
And yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's about it. Remove. And what about yourself there, young man?
I did homework last night. I spent about 3 hours on it. It's not everything we talked about, but it is, I don't know. I think it like at least forced me to think about my process and how I would do it. And also
it gets the gears running, because there's an idea in your head until it's out there and physical and you can see it. Like it's so different. You're like, oh, wait a second, okay, I have to tackle this a little differently.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So I think I have to
gotta screen share that stuff, homie.
Share screen. I'm gonna see our faces again. Actually, do you have StreamYard up?
What do you mean? I have it up. I'm on it right now with you.
I only have one monitor because I'm on my laptop right now.
That's fine.
Whatever. It's just gonna be awkward for a second.
No, we'll still see you.
There we go.
Ah.
See, that's what I'm saying. We have one of those infinity windows.
The Matrix. That's not you, is it?
This is me, man.
This is 2D?
It's no, it's mostly 3D, honestly.
Okay. I see the entranceway to downwards whatever, and then this is the little light protruding. I thought you said you're gonna do some grassy stuff or whatever.
I just couldn't figure it out in my head. Yeah. So I decided to do dungeon tiles, and I wanted to. I'm starting to make like a library of tiles so that I can build.
Yeah.
But I've started thinking of that. I want to do it that the way I don't know if I like the way I did it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's pros and cons.
So are these are each individual? These are each 1 inch, hey?
Well, yeah, basically. Yeah,
that's a big floor tile, eh? Because if you're using a 28 mil, miniature, that's like
you fit a whole party in here.
I know you can fit a whole party, but like one character is like 1 square.
Yeah. Hey, you said 8x8. I'm just.
No, I know that 8x8. But you were talking about you wanted a grid that was like not obvious. I guess this isn't obvious. That's true.
Well, yeah, I think I know what you're saying there. Like,
but you're kind of limited to yourself. You know what I mean? You're like limited to, okay, everything got to be a square now. So it's like, how do you make wood panels? Is everything going to be wooden square panels?
If like with a dungeon tile, I think a tile is. I'm going to just. I don't know. I just think it already is a grid. But if I'm making a grassy field, then you need to overlay some kind of grid. You can't make the grass in patches. I think that would look stupid, but this still looks okay. So that's where I was thinking about. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it'd be maybe
Like,
it'd look better. Maybe it would look better with just an overlay grid on top of a more.
but very faint. You know what I mean? Something that's kind of faint, and give people the option to take it away. So like, hang on a second.
Yeah,
There
because
we go.
some people play.
So
Well,
I
they
got
play the grid.
I made this tile right here, and this is 2 by 2. But you can see on the cubes,
Nobody
these
can see what you're doing.
well, just kill it.
Okay.
Don't kill me. Don't kill that. Alex. Yeah, that one. Kill that one. So this guy right here, this is a 2 by 2, like 2 inches by 2 inches, 2 inches by 2 inches. But
But the
tile
tile.
wise, it's 4 by 4, and here's your character. As you can see, he fits on 4
Mm-hmm.
actual tiles, and I feel like that kind of works too. You know what I mean? And then like it doesn't like, it's still easy to move around, but you definitely probably have to like, I don't know, put some sort of faint. You can do like kind of like lines, like kind of like, like a like line 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 line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or just something faint and a little bit transparent, so like some of the you don't lose the detail under it, maybe a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I just didn't have time to do a different
But
theme.
you fucking did something on
I did.
something you were just kind of talking about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's out there. So I'm very happy for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
want to see more now.
I could see myself doing like a whole dungeon, like
Oh yeah, most
a whole
definitely.
like a hallway, a big room, like a puzzle room, like
Yeah,
a larger maybe kind of foyer type room. I think it would be pretty cool to do that
yeah, for
sort of
sure,
thing.
dude.
So, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about.
Do your thinking while you're working, so you get something done.
No, I'm getting a lot done. I'm just working on things that I'm not ready to share yet that are longer than that take longer than a week to do.
Mm, mm.
It's
Yeah, I got 11 days, dude.
yeah.
I got 11 days to get all my modeling done. So I've been I've been kind of fighting with myself, and I catch myself trying to justify not to do like this Kickstarter, like not to like finish it and like get it done and do it at the end of the year, like I said, and it's been interesting, and I'm kind of looking forward for those 11 days to be done so I can start doing the stuff that I'm inexperienced in, I'm not good at, which is making a Kickstarter. So
Promoting it, marketing it,
not just that, not just that.
the imagery that's not just
That's
taking.
easy. I have to like write up all the stuff. You know what I mean? I gotta like do a
Hmm.
pitch. You know what I mean? I gotta have like some tiers. I gotta like price it, and I gotta try to think about like, okay, how much am I asking for? What's my stretch goals? You know.
Yeah,
So there's all that stuff that's going to be interesting. And so I'm going to have to do some reconnaissance. I don't know if that's even
yeah.
the right word, and
I
look
don't
at other
think so.
people's Kickstarters and stuff.
Yeah, you just got to ask yourself. Like, there's some things that like you already know, right? Like, what are your knowns? With with regard to how much to price it, right? There's a value that's too low. There's a value that's too high.
Yeah,
How much? How if I made this much and only this much would I, you know, if you only got $1,000,
that's great. I'd be happy with that.
well,
Because
then
like I
set it
said,
up. Then set it at
it's
1,000 at to start, and then
yeah.
are you going to reserve some models for your stretch goals? Are you like,
Well, I was talking to Gavin, and Gavin was like, he essentially was saying like, oh, why don't you some of your stretch goals? Why don't you actually make them stuff that's not already made, and it's stretch goals. So if you reach a stretch goal, you just make it. And I was just like, you know what? Because I know Pete Motorbacher and Sam Flegel, they said like, oh, just make everything, even all your stretch goals and stuff like that. And I'm just like, that's great because then you don't have to do it, right? But then also it's like, well, what happens if I don't get my stretch goals and I just end up with all these models? Worst case scenario, I just have the models and now I could just sell them regardless, right?
Yeah, but here's the danger in doing that. Because if, let's say you set your Kickstarter to $1,000,
Yeah.
so you're already, if no one, if someone, like you've been working on this thing for like weeks or months,
Months,
like
dude.
that's like how long? Months?
Yeah, man.
$1,000 doesn't stretch over that long. Like that doesn't pay rent, right?
Oh, no, no, no. Like I said, this isn't.
You'll be doing that work at a loss if you don't, like if you price it at that. Because once this Kickstarter's done, if you need to do more work to support it without working on your next Kickstarter,
That's true.
right,
That's a good point.
then it's just dragging you back.
Yeah,
right?
not just that, but also like, because the plan is to make a website and then make another Kickstarter.
I think you should, I think you should like you should definitely reserve some models for, I love it when people do, like stretch goals, obviously. I love when people do like, here's an exclusive model if you back before a certain date. That's pretty cool to like get people excited about the project. Backing it early gives you something to promote, and then it gives you like, I don't know, it kind of sets up different phases of your campaign so that you're not just saying the same thing all month.
That's true, but the thing is like, this is my first Kickstarter, man. Like I shouldn't stretch myself out too much. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you should do any work after this. Like on this,
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Aside from delivering goods, or you're already going to there's already going to be so much work to like interact with all these people who supported you and paid.
It's true.
And then you're going to spend your time. Yeah, I don't think so, dude. I think you need to like work on the next one because this is your permanent gig. This is not just, oh, I'm going to grab some money now and it's going to be nice. Just be a little extra nice. No, this is like, this got to get you to the end of the year and to your next tentpole release, whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I said, like this isn't like I'm operating at a loss for this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because like I'm like there's a Kickstarter that just got released this morning and it's like a modular sci-fi, terrain thing. And it's very nice and it looks great. And I got fucking bummed out when I saw it. I was like, ah, Jesus. And he's only asking for 480 or something like that, Canadian.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But he's already raised $1,000 and he has like over like 700 models. So it's like, fuck, I can't compete with this. You know what I mean?
But he's like a guy who's like,
oh, he probably paid a couple dudes. He probably paid a couple dudes to do his work. But this is the thing though.
Doesn't buy 900 models. Like,
sorry.
That's like $10 a model. Less than 10. That's I guess $9.
Yeah, I guess so. But
that's not a very like realistic.
Well, no, I find that all these Kickstarters for 3D printing stuff, they lowball themselves, and then and then from that they get people to like just buy in, and then they hope that more people buy into it. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, it's cheap. I'll just get it. You know what I mean? Like people are already undervaluing the 3D models and stuff like that. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. But however, though, they do have a longer life than let's say making video game models for a video game, because like I can take this model and now I can put it on a storefront and now it sits there, and then throughout the years it can generate money. There's that aspect.
I think it's just a lack of confidence. Like everybody's new to it. Everybody's new to 3D printing, and they're not sure if it's going to get funded or not. So they just set it really low so that they're like, well, at least I can cut my losses if it doesn't generate that much, and I get something for my trouble.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's setting it just dirt low. You know, it's not like a realistic. It's not like it's not like your traditional Kickstarter where you're like, we're going to build this backpack that it has Wi-Fi in it or something like that, and it actually costs them like 200K to develop the prototype and put it in factories and get it made for X number of people.
Yeah.
Like it's a realistic, even although it's usually also ambitious, but it's at least appears realistic
Yeah.
to like the size of the project. Where like
Sure.
if a 3D Kickstarter with 900 models were realistically priced so that whoever made them was paid fairly, like how many thousands of dollars would that be?
Yeah. Yeah,
Probably
for sure.
also like 200K or so, not more, because
I'm gonna be honest though, these models are kind of basic looking. Like they're kind of like run of the mill.
yeah,
Like
sure.
I might sound mean saying that, but it's just like that's a lot of the sci-fi
Well,
stuff because it has to be modular and it has to print on an FDM printer, right?
okay. Yeah,
Um, and so, but I don't want that. I want to make fucking
yeah. You want to make
interesting shapes and stuff like that. But I was thinking, so this one company that I was just talking about, they just released this morning,
yeah,
and also like printable scenery. So there's two types of people. There's Danny, and there's printable scenery. When Danny makes a Kickstarter, it's him talking in front of a camera, and it's his thing that he did, and it's like he's not just selling the story of his product that he's trying to sell you. He's selling himself. Like, hey, I'm Danny. I do this thing. I love doing this thing, and I want you to be a part of it. And then printable scenery is like, hey, look at this awesome fucking thing we just made, and here's the storyline. It's goblins and dwarves and blah 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 blah, and oh, this is an underworld.
Is the
Sorry?
guy talking, or is it like a trailer video that's saying?
It's a trailer video. It's like a video of like he paid a person to be like doing like a epic voice, like,
Okay.
long behold, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The fortress walls, stuff like that. Like very epic, kind of like a B movie of Lord of the Rings voiceover.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like selling the brand, and so he's like selling this like this idea. But Danny, he's selling. Well, I shouldn't even say selling. He's telling a story that people are engaging in, and in return are giving him dineros, giving him pesos.
Trailer. The other one is like a blog almost.
Yeah.
But Danny's like Danny. I think I don't know if he's the best one to model off of because
that's
you're
looking too deep into it. You just look on the face. Like if you would have seen both of those videos and you don't know who Danny is and you don't know who printable scenery is, they're two different stories, right? And one person might connect to it a lot differently, and like.
Yeah.
And I have to try to figure that out. Like, what do I want? Do I want to be like a company name, or do I want to sell put myself out there and say, this is me, and I like doing this thing, and I'll be seeing more of my face.
On Danny's Kickstarter, you're buying Danny a little bit. You want Danny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel.
You want to help out Danny. Yeah.
I think he has a really good idea, and I think it's really clever what he's doing. But he's also selling himself, whereas printable scenery is like focusing on the item, the art,
Danny's the story. He's not selling himself. Danny's the story, and he's selling 3D printable scenery, or characters rather. You know what I mean?
Well, he has a story that's real, and printable scenery is like crafting this kind of cool narrative.
Yeah,
like a fantasy thing.
Yeah, printable scenery makes a story each kind of step of the way. Each year they have a new little story, and the story is like, whatever themed Kickstarter he does, right? And Danny is just Danny, super nice guy, that's super humble, and he just wants to make cool shit and hopefully, keeps doing it for the rest of his life. And yeah. And I think I want to go. Sorry, go ahead.
I've seen a lot of Kickstarters that are like that, where it's a dude talking to a camera, but they're not always. You don't always connect with them. I don't know, man. Which way are you leaning one way or the other? I know which way I lean. I like the guys that are crafting a produced kind of like fictional world that is
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like,
to itself.
I'm approaching this more along the lines of my craft and my skill. And these other people, I can't compete in their lane because what they're doing is they're like an engineer and they have a bunch of money because they have no kids, and they're like, oh, I'll just like, hire a bunch of cheap artists, pay them a couple $100 to make some models, and then I'll just resell them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To be honest, Danny, you could fit Danny in that category. But however, Danny puts himself out there and he really engages with people that are interested in that field. He's not just hiding away behind a brand and then just releasing things. He's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
right in the front, and he's like, "Hey, look at this cool stuff, guys! This cool. You should buy it." And people are like, "Yeah, Danny, we like you, and we like the stuff you're showing us, so we're gonna buy it." Instead of being like a really cool trailer, and then people are like, "Ooh, that's a cool trailer, and that's some cool models, and I'm gonna buy it," and stuff like that.
Well,
So
I mean, to be fair, I mean, Danny is an artist, but he's not a visual artist. He's DM. He's like
he's
storyteller, kind of
he's a
communicator.
yeah, I guess he's an entrepreneur. That's definitely for sure. And like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
artist and the entrepreneur is kind of like they're very similar in that way, right? Because they're kind of making something that doesn't exist, and they're putting it in the world, and people are interacting with it, and they're looking at it, and they're talking about it. You know what I mean?
Like Printable Scenery like I can tell at its core is like a visual artist there. There's a visual artist there who has like the ability to like conjure up these cool, you know, videos and whatever it is, just like this fantasy content, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's multiple people in the equation, right? Because like he has probably a couple painters, right? He probably does some painting himself. A couple painters. He has modelers. He probably even does some modeling himself. I don't even know. I should know the guy's name. But anyways, uh, like printable scenery to get to that level, he has to do like so much. Like he has to spend so much more money, but his
Mhm.
Kickstarters make so much money. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
the
yeah, yeah.
sacrifice he's putting in is repaying in the thing. You know what I mean?
That could be the other thing too. Like maybe he's paying folks to create this stuff. We don't know, but I don't. I feel like
Oh,
that's not
printable scenery, most definitely.
like you're not gonna. Maybe you pay somebody to do the odd thing, like you said, like maybe paint a miniature for a product shot or something like that, or
Bro,
have somebody photograph something
I've been
for you. But
practicing. Look at this fucking miniature. Look how cool he looks.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, sure you can.
Looks like a blob of darkness.
It looks good. It'll look better with a nice camera.
No,
Um,
I think you should paint your own stuff.
yeah, no, and
I
I've
think
been like,
I think you do as much as you possibly can for yourself here.
it's getting me closer to the hobby too of tabletop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm painting these things and I'm learning about how to paint miniatures. I'm learning about techniques. I'm learning about like almost like the history in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm getting so much more appreciation out of it, and it's making me excited to like get these models out and get them in people's hands because like I'm painting them and I'm getting some nice results. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to show people my paint job, and I can't wait to see other people print stuff and paint them, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but also like printable scenery is not doing it. Like they do Kickstarters and they have a big website and it looks amazing, but they don't do
Mhm.
a Patreon. You know what I mean? Because the Patreon's like very personal. Not all the time,
That's
but
true.
usually
Yeah.
it's very personal.
That's a
So
good point. They're going for like they're trying to be
they're trying to be Apple.
company.
They're trying to be Microsoft at 3D printing.
I don't know about that. I think they're trying to be like Wizards of the Coast,
There you go. That's better. Wizards of the
something like
Coast.
that. You know, they want to be this branded company, perhaps someday.
They are a branded company. What are you talking about, dude?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess they are. I guess they are.
They got their logo and everything. They got an animated logo.
Yeah, I know. There's more to it than that, though. It's like having, consistent, just like design language to everything you do, and you know,
Yeah, That's the thing though. Like I want room to experiment and oh my massive
Yeah,
forehead.
yeah,
I want room to experiment and do try new things out and hopefully have a few people to
yeah.
join and say like, hey, try your experience. Here's some little bit of money to soften the
Hmm.
landing.
Hmm.
Uh, I was recently listening to this podcast, and it's a tabletop podcast in the UK, and it's all about board games, tabletop wargaming. Just that's all it is. And this one dude, I forget his name. There's a gang of them. There's like five dudes, and they're rotating all the time. There's like a bunch of guys, and they even unbox miniatures too, like custom made miniatures and stuff like that. And this guy was saying like, ah man, like I really like my dungeon tiles and all that stuff, and like they're 28 mil scale dungeon tiles, and he says he has a giant case for these for all these tiles, and then he was saying, I would love if somebody made a 15 millimeter Dungeons and Dragons kind of tile set, so he can like take that giant case and just like make it into like something this big and just have like all his doors and all his tiles and all his walls and Jesus Christ, where is it? Oh yeah, right here. So I I listened to that and I was just like, that's a really fucking good idea because like I made this little tile right here. I don't know if you see it. It looks like garbage. I tried to put
It's
some.
small. It's pretty
Yeah,
small.
it's small. But I could totally get this. I could totally get more. Like I could totally make this a lot more detailed, and make more. And like it has a clip, if you could see. Like it has an opening for a clip. Like you know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
can actually attach these things. And I was just thinking like that'd be a really interesting thing because like if he's saying that, I'm sure there's a lot more other people that feel the same way where they want to play. They want to have less and they want to play in a smaller scale game and not always have to lug a giant amount of like stuff to like their friend's house and stuff like
yeah.
that.
A
And
big treasure
also
chest of toys.
making
Yeah,
smaller stuff. Resin printers are getting wicked cheap and getting wicked better.
yeah.
They're getting really really good. So people that
Uh,
are
yeah.
sorry.
I hear feedback the other side too that they want miniatures to be larger and stuff. You know.
That's the thing though. Like there's multiple world views, right? There's
Yeah,
world views of people that like, oh, I got a basement, I got a man cave, and I got like I'm just loaded with dungeon tiles, walls, and big scenery pieces. And some people are like, ah, I just want a small thing where I could just like go to my friend's house, or like I'm on a trip, like I
yeah,
go to a convention and I'm meeting up with friends, and we want to play D&D together at a at BlizzCon or at
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dragon Con or whatever, and then they just have this little tiny case and they bring it with them in the car, and they get to play in the hotel with their friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the laptop of dungeon crawling.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a that's a good point. Yeah, I think
Like it's just a different worldview, right?
yeah,
And you can't, and you could try to cater to everybody, and I'll probably end up going down different lanes. But I find that that lane makes a lot of sense, and you don't see any of it on Kickstarter or Patreon. You don't see any people making, like there is people that make stuff like that, but you see it in wargaming. But I don't see it for dungeon tiles, for
hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons. So that's an idea
Maybe they're
in the
doing that in
future.
wargaming. They're making smaller sized.
Yeah, wargaming. Well, there's more wargaming stuff that has 15 millimeter stuff.
Well, you need a whole set of smaller miniatures like characters too.
Yeah, that's fine, right?
Yeah, if you're a 3D printer, you can just print it at whatever scale you want. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
if you want to.
That's true. But if they're designed to like, like I said, like a tile this size,
Yeah,
designed for 15 mil, right? And it's just already scaled up perfectly, and like the ratios are right, and it looks good when it's painted. I think, yeah, there might be an avenue for that. Who knows?
it'd look cute if nothing else.
How dare you?
I don't know. I feel like snapping together the little square tiles is like really. I feel like it takes a long time to make a dungeon, and it's also like a
It'd be
lot
quicker
of
though.
stuff, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because yeah, but if it's smaller, if it's 15 mil, you
Yeah,
can you can for well think about it. It's literally half the scale, pretty much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So if you have a stack of floor tiles, like I don't know, like that's like 10 tiles maybe. That's it. You can have 20, and 20 will be. You can have 10. That's half of that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like, you're like you can print even more because it costs less filament or less resin. You can print even more, and you can fit more in a travel bag or a little casing of something like that. You know what I mean?
hmm yeah.
Yeah. And I was even thinking about, those little round magnets, those little round ones.
Oh yeah.
You can like get one of those and like put them in like a door, like a sliding
Mm,
door that goes up and down, and then like
mm,
make also have like a thing where it's like you have the option to print out a stick. Then you could stick another magnet on the other side, and like the dungeon master can like reach over with his little stick and like just magnetize the door. Just reach over, whoop, so he doesn't have to fumble around with all his fingers in there. You know,
yeah.
so that's an idea.
I
It's
like
just
that.
ideas, but yeah. But when he said that, I think his name is Drew. I think so, maybe. Jolly British guy. And when he said that, I was like, "That's a fucking brilliant idea," and I don't know why anybody hasn't done that yet. It's amazing how
Well, because
designers and
it's so
creators.
niche, right? It's like because by doing that, you're ignoring, for the time you're spending on it, you're ignoring a big part of the market, like probably 98% of the market that's happy to continue to game in the 28 millimeter scale that they've invested
That
like
the thing
hundreds
is
of
like,
dollars in.
well, how we don't know how many people are actually wanting to do.
Hmm.
We like that number you just threw out. You don't know if that's true or not. You don't know if people are. You know what I mean? Like think about it. Like that book that. Well, I've been reading that book, right? That
Yeah.
marketing is telling stories,
Hmm.
and you shouldn't have. You don't focus on the everyday common thing because they'll just get washed out with everything else. And you have to tell a story, or you have to have a product that fits in a lane that's not very niche, but to the point where it's like this thing exists, but it didn't exist in this way. And there's people out there, and it's the internet, right? It can travel as far as the eye can see. You're not limited to a shipment container, especially what I'm doing. I deal with a file. If
Yeah.
people buy a file, excuse me, they get it like that. So the I I'm gonna try it out one of these days. I'm gonna do it. I don't think it's gonna be my next Kickstarter, but I'm putting that idea, I'm writing it in the book, and it's gonna be something. Because I think it's a great idea. I think there's plenty of people that love playing Dungeons and Dragons, but they're like, "Fuck, I got so much shit to bring," and so then they just say like, "Oh, I'll only just play it with
Mm.
like paper and pen, right?"
Well, I've seen people solve this problem in a different way. Like there's just the other day I saw on I feel like it's a Facebook ad or Instagram or something like that. It was like a travel case with dungeon tiles in it that were like really flat sheets, and you could fit a lot in there. Like it just
Hmm.
like layered in, you know, and it had small, I don't know, the outdoors and just little plastic representations of
Was
some of
it
the key
was it
things.
paper? Not
No,
paper,
no,
but
it was
like
super thin.
cardstock.
I believe it was thin plastic. I don't know for
Okay.
sure though. I mean, it was a video, so that's what it looked like to me because I looked like I had a bit of height to it. I wish I
Okay.
remembered what like the actual name of it, but
Sure, that's great.
I think
But was that still 28 mil?
yeah, I think so. I think
Well,
so.
that's the thing, right? Like 28 mil still takes up that 20 mil like space. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but like it's but because it's so thin, like the amount of space you're saving,
That's true.
this big thick tile piece. Like maybe you don't bring all your top. Maybe you don't bring tiles to Dragon Con or wherever you're going.
Yeah,
Maybe you bring a flat
that's true. But
cardboard.
imagine having the amount of detail in those big thick ones, but at a smaller
Yeah,
scale. You know what I mean? And so, well, it all depends, right? Because there's different worldviews of Dungeons and Dragons or RPGs in general. Because there's the people that do the traditional way, where it's just paper and pen and dice,
yeah,
and there's people that play with just like uh, cutouts, like you know what I
yeah,
mean, and like with little markers of what's your character and what's things you could pick up. There's people that splurge and they print out all the dungeon sets, or they buy like Dwarven Forge, they
yeah,
buy like the physical like thing, you know what I mean, or they get the big TV, right, the big TV on like that's built into a gaming table,
yeah,
or there's people that just play it online, you know what I mean, where they like play. There's
yeah, yeah.
there's like a Dungeons and Dragons, or just an RPG like thing where you could like build a dungeon, and then you essentially just like take your turns and like do not even take your turns. You like play a game of Dungeons and Dragons on like a a top down RPG kind of like
Hmm.
tool thing. It's like a tool essentially, less of a game, more of a tool.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I just think that market is just not it's not there yet. You know what I mean? It's very it's niche, but all those things I just said are super niche. Those are all different worldviews, and those are all successful. There's people that buy like wooden dice holders where they like put right beside themselves so they can roll their dice in it, and they have like different designs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's all these
Yeah.
like little different microcosmics things of like dice is one
Well,
thing. You know what I mean?
here's the thing, man. Like with those, like what you're describing, the dice roller tray or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't exclude all the other stuff they own. Like that's like a complement to the games they're already playing.
Sorry, that's a bad example. Coins, like well, maybe that's a bad example too. Shit, what am I trying to make
Yeah,
example
no,
of?
people are where I'm at is like people that play with those dungeon tiles that snap together. They're just it's not necessary for those guys just love dungeon tiles. They're
Yeah,
just fascinated by them. And I think if somebody is like that person, I think they're gonna like a miniature one too. I think they're gonna think it's cute to have that.
but
But
also think
uh,
about it. Like,
you go for it. You don't have to convince me.
oh, sorry, I feel like I'm trying to convince you. I feel like I'm trying to like
Yeah,
fight
I
my
feel
my
like I'm
point.
trying to convince you not to.
But it's just it makes so much sense, and it's just like this plastic shit does take up a lot of room. Like, look at this fucking huge thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like this took 14 hours to print,
yeah.
and this only has I think 6% infill, which is very little. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Yeah,
and this was print on like not that great layer height or whatever. Turned out really good actually. But you know what I mean? So there's people that yeah they want to fucking make it smaller, and they don't want to sit in front of the printer for 14 hours. You know what I mean? Because like those tiles, like just like one of these fucking tiles, it
yeah,
takes like roughly an hour. You know what I mean?
sure.
And if you're printing, 50 of them, on a print bed, you could print like maybe like 20, and you'll shorten the time a bit, but still, that's you're looking at least 10 hours.
Yeah.
And you know how big people can make their fucking dungeons, right? So,
Yeah. I'm just not interested in making things that exclude other things. So that's kind of why I'm not into making those top-down maps that already have trees painted on them and
yeah.
stairs painted on them. I want to include everything everybody's already printing. I want to be part of that big community of people who are, enjoying this new hobby,
Hmm.
and I want to enhance what they've already made. I want like those games to be had.
You want to complement them.
Yeah, I want like stuff that people already have to get. I want them to be excited about them again because they've got something new to do with them. You know what I mean? So everything I design has that in mind.
I see.
So, and it's not like a strategic thing. I just think like it's just what I don't know. That's more of my jam, I guess. It's what I'm into. That's what I'd want if I had invested all the time that I could see myself investing in this. If it were,
Hmm.
if I had the time, I guess. If I weren't, you know, doing art all the time, I guess. But I think there's I think it could be a fun thing to do, and I could see like you being at a convention floor and having this table full of miniature dungeon tiles all laid out, and I think a lot of people would stop and admire them and think they're kind of
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
And, yeah, so
But also like something that's small like that, and you could print on a resin. You know what I mean? To get the detail up there, and also since it's so small, it won't cost as much as building a full tile in resin. It's like
yeah,
literally half the price, not even.
maybe a quarter of the price,
Yeah, because it's so tiny.
exponential
Um,
when you scale that stuff. So yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Things are already small to me. Like printing, people like, and I show people things I print. They're like, "Man, you should print things bigger." And like, yeah, probably.
it's like that's not the point, man. People want small, little, tiny things.
Hmm.
I wonder. I wonder if it's a weird god complex. You know what I mean? It's like you like have these little tiny things, and you kind of create
Yeah,
them, and you
yeah,
paint them, and you build a world, and you're like, okay, this is my world now that I
yeah. And
created.
what is it about that 28 millimeter scale that people have just everyone's kind of agreed that this is the scale that they want? You
It's
know?
like the standard.
Well, yeah, but people have tried like 32 millimeter, and
That's big, man.
it's only 6 more millimeters.
Yeah, but it adds up, man. That's
I
uh,
know. It's
32's
interesting that
32's for monsters. It's for big bosses.
yeah, yeah, but like for some reason people gravitate to that scale of person. You know,
I don't know. It's just maybe it just I don't know. Just
or
fits, I
maybe it's
guess.
just like it's easier to measure inches because everyone uses a ruler.
Maybe. Geez, Louise. What else do I got to talk about? I think that's about it for me.
Anything else? What are you doing this week? What are you going to do with the rest of your week?
Well, today I got to go to the bank.
Modeling?
Sorry?
Modeling week?
I got 11 days, dude.
Okay, so you have two more. Well, a week and a bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to build. I'm really enjoying the destroyed stuff. So I want to build like a simple kind of like a
Yeah.
wall that's just kind of destroyed and rubbled, and probably have a little bit of a corner on it. So if they want, they can like make like a corner, like put two corners together and be like, oh, this was like sort of like a wall here or like a building or something. And it's been like kind of just left and destroyed or whatever. So I want to make that, and then I still want to make a couple more big ass fucking buildings because like this silo turned out so well and I was so happy with it. Whereas like, and there's still room on the print bed when I made this. Like that's a big piece, and there's still room on the print bed, like height wise and also lengthwise and length and height wise. Still a little bit of room on the bed, so I want to make some like really big shit where like you can kind of like stack it up, and like if it was on a table you'd be like, holy fuck, look at that giant goddamn thing. And if you want, you can remove some of the pieces and you could still use those individual pieces as its own thing. But if you stick them together, they make a big like a fucking transformer. How about that?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And that will probably suck up 11 days. But this is the thing though, like I came to the conclusion that I didn't come to the conclusion. I was asking, I was putting on Reddit and also Thingiverse, like groups on Thingiverse, asking like print time or filament saving. And
Nobody gives a fuck about filament savings.
no one does. It's true. Everyone's just like, I don't give a shit.
This is
I
petty.
want something awesome, and I want it now.
Yeah.
I want something awesome. I want it now. Also, some people are like, whatever, man. If the print takes 30 hours, but it's something I want and need, I'll fucking print it. And it's just like, okay, all right. So I'm just like, good to know. Good to know. So I have to go in. I have to go in and remove the hole in a bunch of the stuff I made. So there's a bunch of stuff that I put a hole in to like save on filament.
Or are you gonna get rid of that?
I gotta get rid of that now. So I have to do that.
I think
And
I don't think it's worth the effort.
Sorry?
I don't think that if there are any savings, which I don't even know that there are, I don't know that it's worth the effort.
No. It isn't. So I have to plug all those holes, which is pretty easy. And then I have to go through. There's a bunch of models I haven't gone through yet, and I haven't like put them in Cura and like looked at them and made sure like, you know, there isn't any like hidden geometry inside the model, because sometimes that happens.
Print everything. I think you should print everything you've made.
Yeah, probably, but still, I still have to check them. You know what I mean? I still have to check the Cura. I still have to check the mile in Cura and see if it like, to see if like the overhangs are okay, and like I said, like if there's hidden little artifacts. Because sometimes when you're modeling, you might have like a little piece of geometry under the model that might just be sticking out oh so slightly, and so then when you put it in Cura, it thinks that's the base, and then it'll like make a little thing, and then it'll start doing it again. You know what I mean? So yeah, I gotta like make sure that everything's checked out properly, and then also probably make a better naming convention as well too, because a lot of it's like generator A, generator A1, A2, and generator B, and generator B1, BA, and
A lot of
that stuff.
generators.
I got a lot of generators, so I gotta take a day out and just start like naming some of these that are a little more interesting and also not as confusing. And then also, I gotta take renders of all the models in a coherent way. You know, like same view, same render style, same lighting kind of thing. And then what I want to do is I want to make a sheet. So in the Kickstarter, or like in the file, you'll get the zip file. You'll get all the files of the models, and then there'll be a JPEG, and you can open up the JPEG, and there'll be the model, like a picture of the model, and then under it will be the name. So people are like, oh, I want to print this thing, and so they'll look at it like, oh, okay, so I want to print this thing. It's called this, and then after that, they can go in the file, and they could just take that file, throw it in Cura, and like, that's the file I want, and now I can print.
Lovely.
So yeah.
I want to see like some arrangements of like all the stuff. Like what are the different kind of little power plants you can make? But like
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna be like, oh hey, if you want to make this thing and like put it all together in Maya and then render it out in ZBrush. If you want to make this thing, you got to print all these pieces. You can make this thing. Show examples.
A little bit of taste of what you can do with it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure, my dude. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing, pretty much.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then you got a lot of thinking to do and writing to do.
Yeah, I do. But that will be after the 11 days, because like the 11 days are just gonna be up to modeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then it'll be like writing and cleaning up and making sure this looks presentable and all that fun stuff. That's not the fun stuff. I just lied.
I think it's fun. I think that's the fun stuff.
Maybe.
That stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I said, I have to go to the bank today. And then I got to go to Wally World because I need to get some... Well, Walmart. That's Walmart. I got to get some... do you think Walmart has pastel? Like pastel? Like...
for art supplies?
Yeah, like the chalk shit. The fancy looking chalk.
You
would think so, right?
Maybe. There's also the dollar store right there. They might have some shit.
I don't think they'll have pastels.
Check them out.
And I'll
There's
check them
lots of
out.
weird stuff in there.
And I need the pastels because there's a technique where to ground their miniatures and ground their models, they'll take like a dirt colored pastel and they'll grind it up and then like powder on the bottom and it'll make like a gradient kind of like dirty, kind of like it's been in the dirt. You know what I mean? And dust has been kicked up on it. So
Pastels are a good way to build up gradients.
Sorry?
Pastels are a good way to build up gradients on miniatures without a like an airbrush. If you don't have an airbrush.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like I said, it grounds it, and then I might pop by the hobby store down there at the mall there, and the nerd lair, and just see what they have. See where maybe I could check out their paint. I gotta check out their paints and stuff, and yeah. We'll see.
Do it. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to work.
You're gonna go to work. Homework for you, sir. I'm giving you more homework.
No, you're not.
Come on.
I'm not gonna do it.
Ah, you're a bitch. Come on.
I'm just, dude. Wait a week. You have to give me homework every goddamn week. Or talk to me, talk to me off air about it first.
All right. Well, I just wanted you to do more stuff like I told you to do last week. I just want you to do more tile stuff.
I have my own things that I want to do that I need to spend time on. Is the problem.
Like what? Tell me.
I'd rather talk to you off air about it.
All right. Okay. Okay. We'll do that. Talk off air.
Thank you. Well, have a wonderful week.
Is that it? Are we? Yeah. I guess we're winding down.
Yeah,
Hey, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
Okay then. Let me fucking slow it down. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Playing the Artist. If you want to help us out and support us, please subscribe and hit the little bell thing, and then you'll be notified when we go live or when an episode is up. And leave a comment if you have some questions or you just want to say, hey, good job and keep it up and all that fun stuff. And Alex, where can we? 7 o'clock Tuesday Pacific time. Always be there, be square. Alex, where can we find you?
Yeah, man, you can find me at on Instagram at Tiger Skull RPG. Also on Facebook, same thing, Tiger Skull RPG. Show up as Dungeons and Tigers on there because can't change title, so that's what it is. And also on Thingiverse, if you want to download something I've made and give it a try and see how it goes, it's free. And that is Alex Cola, all one word, on Thingiverse. There's links in the description to all those places, including Antoine's places. So just click on those and like or follow or do whatever they tell you to do.
Do whatever they tell you to do. That's you. You're supposed to tell them.
Oh.
Anyways, I guess, come on down to my Instagram, which is just Forbidden Prints, Forbidden_Prints. And that's my Instagram. And if you want to see some of my 3D personal work, which is ArtStation, which is just my name, just Antoine Marchildon, just check out my ArtStation. Soon I'll be able to show off my work in PVZ on Garden Warfare. That's been in its beta thing, I guess you could say. It's like some sort of beta.
Yeah, it's Founders Edition. It's it's like it's out there. You can play it. It's not fully featured.
Alex, quit trying to sell the product, goddammit.
Yeah, I'm just explaining. And it's PVZ. And I'm still working overtime on it. So
that's insane, dude.
If we could do homework maybe another week, that would be just lovely.
How about this? How about I'll give you homework when the goddamn thing is fully out, which is like in a couple weeks. So
is it? No. I don't think it's fully out until like November, December.
What?
But there's just several content updates, and we're like revealing modes. You know,
I think it's at the end of October. It's supposed to be fully out.
Could be. The dates change. I don't know off the top of my head.
Man, work must be pretty crazy then. Anyways, thanks for joining us and all that fun stuff. So we'll see you next Tuesday. Big kiss.
Oh, I gotta end the broadcast.
Yeah, end the broadcast, you nerd. Hey, see you around, dude.
Ciao.
Bye.